So my method here is unconventional. I wasn't trained in automotive or anything. My process here is to try just to use my problem solving skills and the tools I have on hand to figure out what the problem is and try to fix it as best I can. If I can't figure it out on my own, then I go to wiring diagrams and whatever I can find online for manuals. My last resort is actually to go to forums, message boards, and Porsche owner groups. So here you go in 2 minutes or less. All the stuff that I did after owning the car in backwards order, or maybe no order at all. The hardest one, this bundle of wires here, contained the biggest problem with the car. It affected the headlight motor, the dashboard lights, the side marker lights, and even the turn signals. Simply put, the wiring harness is a mess and maybe even a nightmare. Previous owners had removed and bypassed several components, some of which I still don't understand. I took a stab at it and first looked into pins A9 and C7 on the back of the fuse box based on this little bit of diagram tracing. It was a decent thought, but ultimately wrong. Next, after seeing how much goes through the light switch and hazard switch and identifying what brought 12 volts to that switch, I looked at pins E1 and E5, but those looked good. At this point, I just pulled the whole panel out and found out that D3 was burnt and the plastic around it melted. I tested it and found that there was no 12 volts present. I traced the pin and found that it was essentially a jumper to these red wires, which I was able to trace back to the battery terminal. At this point, I just bypassed the pin on the fuse panel and used a good quality wire connector to splice directly into the 12 volts, and voila, it worked. That this took probably weeks to figure out and many hours with my head lying on the driver's side floor panel and my body contorted under the steering wheel. But it was successful, and all the nifty new LED lights I put in the car miraculously worked, as did the dashboard lights. I went and chose red LEDs there for obvious reasons, and I also put a new leather shifter boot with red stitching on it after I put an aftermarket shifter kit in there, which really just tightened it up and got rid of slop. Headlights.